Howdy! Like it or not, here we come. For some reason, my clock seems to be off. I don't know why.
But we're right at the top of the hour. Hi, everybody.
How's your cantaloupes?
Cantaloupes are doing good.
I went to the Dollar Tree yesterday. And a couple of little things I need to pick up in there. Of course, I always have to walk past the craft department, to see what googly eyes on every damn thing in that damn store.
I wholeheartedly support that effort.
We got a few people out there in the chat. Let's see. When a Girl Has No Name is out there, and Mel Mel's out there, and Kenneth, the Kentucky fam, is out there. Good to have you with us. Everybody share this out. Hit that like button, and we'll have a giveaway here in a little bit. And you never know what's going to hit the giveaway stage and what we're going to do. I thought sure you'd have one of them, big old industrial bras and a couple Canta-Lupays with some googly eyes on them, so you could, shake your money makers there for us tonight.
Well, I'm going to need a lot of super chats to make that happen. People don't get that for free.
Well, if just in case anybody's wanting a house update, it has been 5 weeks and a day now since the hole appeared in my roof from the tree falling into the house and tore up everything here. So the insurance company.
When did it? What was the exact day on the calendar? The
8/11.
11. Okay. August 11th. Not a good day for you.
No. The year before, on August the 11th, was the day that somebody cut my van up in my driveway.
All right.
So yeah.
We're going to put a steel protective dome over your house August the 10th, and we're going to entrap you in there so no bad things can happen next year.
Hell, I think I'm going to have a gun turret put up on the roof.
There you go.
I'm just going to climb up there and get in that gun turret for the day.
Motion activated.
Yep. Anything comes near me or my house. I'm going to let these so-and-sos understand beyond a shadow of a doubt that I mean business.
There you go.
Enough, anything's enough.
Do it.
But yeah, the update is that the hole is still in the roof. Fence is still tore up. The insurance company's kind of coming around to my way of thinking about the money. The roofer says that they can work with them with what they're offering. They said, look, they'll come around when we start sending pictures. We get in that attic and take pictures of the damage and stuff. He says, you should be no out of pocket whatsoever. And I said, make sure I'm not, because I'm here to tell you, you cannot squeeze blood out of a turnip. I ain't got it. I ain't got no way to get it. So what you get, you're going to have to get from them.
There you go.
And so he said, the guy from the roofing company said that they have ordered the stuff to repair my roof and that the work should be started sometime next week. And it's going to go in 2 phases. They're going to do the house first, and then they'll do the fence, which, okay, I have no problem with that. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it'll probably be spring before they get to the fence, because my understanding is it takes about 6 months to get the materials. So it happens when it happens. Mm-hmm. But I can't I won't do the landscaping until they do something about the fence, because I'm not going to have them in here stomping over that and tearing my landscaping all up.
Makes sense.
One thing at a time.
Well, I'm glad things are on the calendar now. That's good news.
Well, it's not on my calendar yet. I mean, I'm getting promises, but I've had promises before.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Once bitten, twice shy. I'll believe it when I see it. The other night, it came a big thunderstorm for about 4 hours, and you couldn't have pried me loose from the wall for all the tea and china. I'm there, fingernails in the wall, because I'm just waiting. If there's a ceiling to start to cave, I just know water's pouring in that attic, and the insulation's soaking it all up, and everything's getting moldy and nasty up there. Well, it is, but the tarp is only good for so much. When you got rain coming out of the sky like somebody pouring piss out of a boot. I'm here to tell you that tarp ain't going to stop everything.
Well, I hope your troubles melt like lemon drops.
It's going to take some doing. I tell you what. So yeah, and with the soffits gone, you don't know how much of that stuff's running down through the walls. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. This is just the nightmare that just won't end.
Well, you got some good contractors on your side. The contractors know how to deal with the insurance company. It sucks. No way around it. But it seems like you're on the right path.
I hope so.
That's good news.
I've heard nothing back from the attorney yet, so I don't know what he's doing with the case, but I'm not going to aggravate him. I figured I'd give him a month, let him do whatever he's going to do for about a month and then ask him for an update. See if he can tell me what the plan is, what they're doing.
Well, I've been up to my eyeballs in technology.
Yeah.
Having some fights here and there. I started to dive into Restream.io for streaming. So I can go to more platforms other than YouTube. Although I'm the YouTube guy, I love YouTube. I'm going to do some light touch streaming on my Awesome Fun Things business. And I want that to go into some Facebook spaces. And boy, that is a complicated endeavor. Because Facebook groups are a little bit different. People have to click a link before you can see their name or avatar coming through up on screen. There's you can set up events, but when you go live with my streaming software, you can go live now, or you can choose your event. And I forgot to choose it. So it was just quite the learning curve. I'm on with tech support, and the person has no idea about the product at all. No idea. Here, the problem was when you go live to Facebook, the way I was going, you're live, you're sending your feed out of your computer. Okay,
right.
Good, right? Well, that means it's live on Facebook, right?
Right.
That sounds completely reasonable. No, that's not how it works. You got to push a button on Facebook. So you go live in your streaming software. You're not live yet, but you got to go to Facebook and push another button. And I couldn't, I had a tick. I'm like, I went live. It didn't show up. Help me out. And the guy's like, well, I have to elevate. I have to see if this is allowed on Facebook groups. I'm like, you should know this. Like it says on the marketing, you can go live to Facebook groups. It says right there on the front page of Restream.io website. I'm like, what do you mean you have to elevate this? I'm like, can you please let me talk to someone who knows what they're talking about? I'm going to get the answer for you, sir. Yeah. And then the answers come back and it's, I think this, I think that. I'm like, I have very little confidence in I think this and I think I was just, and then they got this special chat application. It's a physical app, a separate computer app. You launch it. You got to sign in. Okay, username and password. Boom. Oh, two-factor authentication. I turn that on. Okay, boom. So now I do those three things. Then it hits you with the Recaptcha. So the captcha comes up. It says, here's a grid of 8 images. Show me all the ones with taxis in them. And then you start clicking these things. And then I hit the button. But here I didn't realize you click it. And then it replaces that cell with another cell that you could have to click a second time. So I get through that fail, puts up another one. Show me all the crosswalks. Click, click, click. Fail, puts up another one. Show me all the fire hydrants, and it finally lets it through. Oh, and then it did, and then it did the two-factor, and then after the two-factor, it throws up the Recaptcha again. I'm like, mother effer. So I went back on chat. I'm like, look, I have two-factor enabled. That's super secure. Recaptcha's not doing any business benefit whatsoever. There's no added security. I mean, if I did two-factor, I'm a human. Like I've past the two-factor. Why are you recapturing me? I think they catch a little bit of pennies by allowing Recaptcha on their product. I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's annoying. Please disable it, at least for people who have Recaptcha. Okay, we're going to elevate that. I'm like, thank you. I'm talking to someone competent. They're going to elevate it. And then he says, oh, wait a minute. It's a known issue. Here's the article about it. And the article is how to fix Recaptcha if it's not working, like if you're on a VPN. I'm like, no, I'm not saying Recaptcha is broken. I'm saying it's working perfectly fine, but it's annoying. Take it out of the product. I'm a paying customer. And you're annoying me with a 3-minute step that I've got to get through. Anyway, that's what I've been dealing with.
Well, they like for you to pay them to annoy you.
You know,
Susan is much the same way, and you like her.
Well, yeah. Driveway Workshop with Jim Bashir's is here. Hello.
Yeah, and Steve with Harnell Media is out there. Good to see you too.
Every time I type the word Steve, I always put an R at the end of it, and then I backspace the R away. I have no idea what's going on between my brain and my fingers. And it's not other words that end in E. It's only the word Steve that ends in E. I just Stever. I don't know why it happens, but it happens. Anyway. I got a lot of problems up here, Brenda. A lot of problems.
Maybe that's the end they need to operate on next.
I need a head replacement. Mr. Dutchy Dutch, haven't seen you in a bit.
Welcome, hey, Dutchy Dutch. What's new over there in your neck of the woods?
He's over there in merry old England, I think. Somewhere in the UK.
Dutchy, I got my haircut yesterday. You like my new haircut? It's not as spiky as yours. But it's close. It almost looked as spiky as yours when I got up this morning.
Mel has the impossible channel name to spell with a very large upside down lowercase e. How is the lowercase e the same size as a capital letter, but it's upside down? You see how that appears?
It must be that Comic Sans.
Maybe it's like a Greek delta. Something.
They joined the sorority.
Yeah, the Omega Moos. The Omega Moos was the all-female sorority with moos. I was like, that's rude. The Delta. Do you know how they answer the phone at Delta?
No.
Delta. Can I help you?
Oh, shoot.
I'm in a funny mood today, Brenda.
You sound like it. Maybe this is a good time for us to have our segment on Ask Matt Anything.
Oh, we could do that. If there's interest.
For anybody who don't know what that is all about, what we do is if you have a question for Matt that you want to ask Matt, you let us know there in the chat, and I'll send you the link. If I can find you, I'll send you the link. And we'll bring you up here. You got to have a camera and a microphone so that you can talk to Matt and ask him anything. The catch is it better be entertaining, because if it ain't, I'm kicking you out. So
I will answer any question you have.
You're forewarned.
About any topic.
He may or might not have the answer.
Including cantaloupes.
Canta-Lupays.
Yeah, baby. I'm blinging and blooping over here. What's happening? Daily precip alert. Yeah, it's gonna rain.
It's not supposed to rain here until next Wednesday. That's probably the day they're planning to start working on the roof. The way my luck runs. Luckily, I won't be here that day. I have to take Dennis for surgery that day. So whatever it is they do, however many times they fall off the roof, whatever the hell happens out here, I will not be here for it.
Yeah, it's probably best you're away.
Yeah.
Oh, Mel wishes he had a question for me. That's okay. You don't have to come on if you don't want to. I do a lot of things streaming. I know a lot about desktop publishing. I know a lot about web development. You can ask me about my personal life, my interests, what I do when I do it.
What he does when he's alone in the closet.
Yeah. Knitting is a masculine activity. I'd like to get into that. What's it called? Where you have like a tight grid of plastic, and then the yarn goes through the loops of fabric.
Well, there's a couple different ones. You got rug hooking, or you got that. It's what they call it, canvas something or another, where you sew a design into a piece of canvas.
I like the ones where it looks like squares, like pixels.
Well, both of them do.
Well, that's the look I like. I'm interested in designs that have that old homey country feel, the wholesome feel, but they say something really awful.
Well, you're probably talking about cross stitch.
Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah, cross stitch. I think I like that.
That's a little teeny tiny grids.
Okay, that would be cool, because like I'm an 8-bit video game kind of guy, so I think I could maybe do some designs that look like some of the 8-bit characters. That would be really cool, and put some wording on there. Like I had I commissioned someone to do a cross stitch that said, "Forget Santa, I'm waiting for the doctor." And it had the TARDIS on there. Something like, something like that. I saw, this is actually really bad. I saw one where a best friend got a cross stitch framed piece of artwork for his best guy friend, who recently announced that his wife was pregnant, and it had a picture of a sofa couch with the bed out. It was a bed, and it said Bob's sofa pulls out, but he doesn't. And it was cross stitched. It looked all country, like the country aesthetic. It looked like it would be something really wholesome and nice. Like that's the type of humor I would put to that.
Now, I've got a lot of cross stitch hanging around my house that I personally have done years and years and years and years and years ago. Probably you still in diapers when I was doing all that cross stitch, but I've got a lot of that hanging around different rooms of the house that I have made at one time or another in my old time days.
Yeah. I don't know. So, I don't turn away from any type of visual medium. I dig it all. I dig anything creative. I love it.
Yeah, I wish I had more time to be more creative. That was the whole idea of being able to retire, is so that, I could sit back and enjoy my crafts and all that. I've been retired 5 years, and I have not been able to do even a smidgen of the stuff that I have wanted to do since I retired. It's always some upheaval of some kind.
That's what Mark Lindsay said. He said, "I've retired. I've never been busier."
Yeah. It's the goofiest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's why I say I'm just going to put a gun turret up on the roof and just sit up there, and anybody tries to bother me, doorbell rings, I'm up on the roof, firing away.
Shoot first, ask questions later. Oh.
Yeah, you can't get no rest. I mean, as soon as you try to lay down, take a nap or something, then the darn phone goes to ringing. And 9 times out of 10, it's some spammy thing. They want to help me with my student loans. I've never had a student loan in my life. Where the hell did you get my phone number? Now, what makes you think you can help me with student loans? How can you help me with student loans when I ain't never had one? Or car warranty.
Oh, don't get me started on the car warranty.
I'm like, Lord have mercy. My car's got a lifetime warranty on it. How can you help me with a lifetime warranty when it's covered?
Someone put a message in a bottle that washed up on shore of the beach, and it said, "We've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, snap.
Yeah. Or, oh, the Medicare stuff. Lord have mercy. That is never ending. I mean, even after you get your supplements or whatever it is that you have to get to go along with Medicare, they're still calling you. We just want to make sure that you're getting everything that you need. Listen, I ain't senile. I don't need your help. So just leave me alone. Take my number off your list. And you hit block. It doesn't do any good, but you hit block. They just find another number to call you from.
I don't think they ever call from the same number. I think it's just built into their systems.
Holy smoke. It's always something with these random robot calls and stuff. I'm like, good
Speaking
golly.
of calls, I got a fun call to talk to you about. So I'm sitting here like you, minding my own business.
I can relate.
Oh, Len's handcrafted wood signs is here. Hello.
Hey, Len.
So it's my son. My son's calling me. I'm like, oh, I'm getting a call from my son. He's 21. He doesn't live with us. He's at college with his apartment there. I'm like, all right, get to talk to my boy. He says, guess what tomorrow is? And I'm like, I was like, is it the day you can pre-order the iPad mini? He's like, maybe, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? He says, it's the first day you can pre-order the new iPhone 13, Dad. And I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, well, I can't think of anyone that would need that. He's like, I think I can think of someone. And then his girlfriend's there. He says, I need one. I was like, yeah, I don't think you do. So long story short, I'm buying my son a new iPhone tomorrow when the pre-orders become available at 8 a.m. Eastern. 5 a.m. Pacific is when it opens. So it's 5, 6, 7. I think it's either 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern. So I'm gonna try and get my boy a new phone.
Well, Russell put up on Facebook a while ago a meme thing about grandparents having money for McDonald's when they didn't have it, when their kids was growing up. So right. I put on there, I said, maybe that's my problem. Maybe I need grandkids because I haven't got money for the pay toilet. If I had grandkids, maybe I could hold them upside down by the feet and shake them until the change falls out of their pockets. And then I'd have a little money. Maybe that's what my problem is.
Did you see that meme where the father had his adult kids finally move out, and there's piles of money on the table in front of the father, and the caption is, now that the son moved away and all the lights got turned off because Dad's rolling in cash. Because that's how they make it feel. It's like, turn the lights out. We're not made of money.
Well, I know when my stepson lived with us, we get an electric bill that it was devastating. I thought, Lord have mercy. What do they think we're a bank? How the hell are we getting this bill? So I called the electric company up and I said, y'all need to come out here. There's something wrong with the meter or something because this is not for real. So they sent a feller out there, and he's checking everything in the electrical box and everything with the meter, and he keeps working his way in. He gets in that electrical box and he keeps checking, each breaker in the box, and he gets to this one. And he said, well, now this is the problem one right here. This is the one drawing all the power. And so we went to shutting stuff off in the house to see, what it was that was drawing that. It was the switch to my stepson's bedroom. Well, he was upstairs. We never went up there until then, to nose and see what was going on. But now we needed to know, what is he doing to make this power run? He had not one, but 2 electric space heaters running round the clock up there in his bedroom. home or not. Now, generally, he wasn't there except just to sleep, get out, go to school, go to work, come home, go back to bed. You know, the heaters didn't need to be running day and night. Well, he lost his heater privileges. He got a couple extra blankets for the bed.
Yeah, my goodness. My first house had baseboard electric, and my neighbor said, well, you know what I did? I got the whole electrical box replaced with a modern components, and I made the township run a new line from the pole to the house, and it made a difference in the bill. I'm like, okay, I'll try that. So I got the electrician out. We redid the box, called the township. They're like, no, we're not replacing that wire. And then I was thinking, well, maybe the baseboards themselves are a problem. So we swapped out a few of them with new baseboard electric. Didn't put a dent in anything. Mm-hmm. It just uses that much power.
Yeah.
Electric heat is the most expensive that you can buy.
Yeah.
He was mining Bitcoin. I was thinking that too, Driveway Workshop. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got baseboard heat here, and luckily each room is zoned, you know, so that you don't have to run heat in every room, and I don't. You know, I get held up in like 2 rooms in the wintertime. That's it. And well, for the studio, you know, I run a little heater when I'm in here, and that's it. But last winter, my highest bill was like $400 a month, and that's for barely any heat.
My first house also had a wood burning stove, and although it wasn't attached and working, it had pipes going from the stove into the water heater or into a second water heater or something, where it was heating up the water of whatever. It was kind of crazy that it was even there. Now, it never worked, and I never used that, but the previous owners at one point were getting the normal water heater with the electric, and then they had another one that was connected to the wood-burning stove. It somehow sent water to the wood-burning stove and then back into the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the radiator, the water heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my that house also had a well, but it only fed the 2 outside spigots. Everything else was city water. So I could water the grass, I could wash the cars, and it was all just on the well. Mm-hmm. And the realtor said, now if that ever breaks, these components of the well, because it was like a big metal enclosed barrel, like a bubble, anyway. He said there's components in there that are really expensive, but it never broke the whole time I owned the house.
Yeah, when they made stuff back then, they made it to last. You know, it wasn't made for a week or two and then it's going to break.
I'd like to get a well put on this property since I have some water table issues. I figure if I could run spigots around the clock, I could maybe put a dent in the water table when like a deluge is in the forecast or something like that. So maybe there's a hurricane coming 3 days out. I can turn on all the spigots from the well and just see what 3 days of running a spigot would do to water. You would think it would drop it some, probably not much, but.
Well, it depends on what the water table is. I know when I lived on the farm, we had well. And if you had a dry year where you weren't getting much rain, you had to watch what you was doing with that well because you did not want to run the well dry.
Yeah. And from what I know, they run full bore, no problems, and then they don't. Like there's no tapering down. It's either sucking the water or it's not. Is that true? I would imagine.
Well, you got the well. The well is the hole in the ground that the water's going to come out of. Then you got to have a pump to pump that water out of the ground. And there's different ones are set up different ways. But you also have a pressure tank that pressurizes things so that
Midnight Scroller's here. Hi, Midnight Scroller.
Hey, Midnight Scroller, how you doing? And the pressure tank then pushes the water through the house. That's what gives you your water pressure. And those are your basic components. So, if you typically, if we had a problem on the farm with the well, it would be the pump, because the pump would get sand in it. It'd be pumping, the well would have sand, and so you'd get some sand in there, and it would eat up components in your pump, and you'd have to have your pump replaced.
I see. We
never had a problem on the farm with the pressure tank. It had been there. I think the house was built around that pressure tank.
Okay. And that's like an air compressor for like the wood shop that shoots brad nail? Well, it's the same principle. Does it force air into that bladder and then it displaces the water? Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah. Okay. And we never had a problem with that, ever. And, the house was a 1900s house. So whenever they put plumbing in it, that's when that went in. And so, it had been there forever. And it was there when I left in 2004. So, that's how long that had been there. But when I moved out to the other place, their system was set up a little bit differently. There was no basement. There was a crawl space, and I always just assumed that the pressure tank was in the crawl space. But then I started getting problems with mud coming out of my faucets. So I called the plumber. I said, come out here and find out what is wrong with this mess. So he comes out, and come to find out, they had buried the pressure tank out by the well. So you had your pump. It was like a sump pump that went down into the well and come up wired into the pressure tank.
Which was underground.
Which was buried in the ground. But the pressure tank had a hole in it, about that big around. So when it went to sucking, it was sucking mud into it and then pushing the mud up into the house. You talk about a mess to clean up. Because you had to drain all the lines, you had to drain the hot water tank, you had, what a mess.
For sure, yeah.
So, yeah, different ones are set up differently, but, in a nutshell, it's all the same thing. You got a hole in the ground the water comes out of, and you got the pump, and then you got the pressure tank to push the water. And, it's not exactly rocket science, but you got to know where all your parts and stuff are if you ever have to work on it. Because they was underneath the house looking for this pressure tank. Because I figured, it's at the other place it had been in the basement. So at this place it must be down there in the crawl space. I'd never heard of anybody burying one in the ground, and apparently they hadn't either. Because imagine their surprise when they started digging around out there around the well and found the pressure tank.
When I sold my house, the owners had questions whether there was an old, what do you call it? When you're not connected to the city water, you've got the, your toilet flushes into a big buried container somewhere. What's that called? Septic.
Yeah, your septic tank and leach bed.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I don't think we have it. And then they found the old records, and there is a septic something on the property. I saw where on the architectural diagram where it was. I'm like, oh, I guess there is something down there. No idea. So I'm like, yeah, okay, it's there. What do you want me to say? So, but who knew?
Yeah, luckily you never had any problem with it. But see, if you'd had a problem with it backing up, then you called.
We were connected to city. Like it was there, but not in use.
Oh, okay.
But they wanted to know if it was on the property as a condition, as one of the questions for the sale of the home. And I'm like, oh, news to me.
Yeah.
And we did have a, where the rain spouts were going into this 4-inch pipe. I never knew where the 4-inch pipe went. It went into the ground. And I never saw the water. So this architectural diagram, I think what they did is it brought it about 25 feet away from the house, and then it just leached into the ground. I'm like, that's kind of crazy, because if it rains and rains and rains and rains and rains, it's going to push all that water. But I never had a problem with it.
Well, it depends on what kind of a drainage system it was kind of hooked up to. If it went out to like 4-inch pipes, then that was put in gravel and, had a bunch of drainage to that and then took it even out further or, something of that nature. It can't just take it out and just dump it in the mud. It's bound to take it someplace.
I didn't think it was connected to the water runoff of the street.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I could tell, it wasn't, but whatever. Hey, Desert Bum Woodworking's here. Hello.
Good to see you.
That's Chuck is enjoying my morning live streams on Awesome Fun Things. I've been popping on there, Brenda, talking about who knows what, and people are digging it. And he had some questions for me. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, I've been a little busy, so I haven't been able to be around.
That's okay.
If it ain't one thing, it's 10.
Yeah.
It's, I'm thinking, look, I retired so I could see some peace. That's all I'm asking. Just want to see some peace, want to be able to enjoy my golden years. I don't want to be aggravated to death. I don't need, all this foolishness that people seem to think is the way that things should go. No, I just, I want to be able to be creative and enjoy my craft stuff and just, get up in the morning, fix my breakfast, play with my dog, go and enjoy my crafting, do a little cleaning, maybe run some errands, take a nap.
Is that too much to ask?
I don't think that's too much to ask,
I don't think so either.
But now I'm to the point where I just want to hit the lottery.
That'd be nice.
Just let me hit the big boy lottery and, I'll go buy my own little spot someplace out away from everybody with a gun turret on the roof.
Then you'll be happy.
Instead of doing crafting, I'll just sit there in my gun turret all day long, just waiting, for somebody to cross my path.
Sounds like a plan.
Watch me make them run. So we don't have anybody that wants to play tonight with the Ask Matt Anything. Nobody's come through and jumped on board.
We got a few more people. We have a segment where you can come on air and ask me anything, and I'll answer you. You need a camera and a microphone. Brenda will give you the link to join as a co-host, and you can ask me a question. The only stipulation is you got to be entertaining, and Brenda will kick you off if you're boring.
Yeah, I got to have a way to get a hold of you if you're not on my Facebook page or something, and that way I can send you the link so that you can come up here. Desert Bum says he wants to see a picture of me up there in the gun turret.
Tunnel carrying a stream or open drain under the road or railroad. That's what When a Girl Has No Name asked me. Is there a culvert near my house? Well, this was my former house, and no, I don't think there was, because it was just my house and then the street and then house on the other side of the street. That's all there was. So I think the answer is no.
Yeah, if I hit the big lottery, and I get $100 million, I think the gun turret could happen. You got that kind of money, you can make it happen.
You could do a lot with $100 million.
Yeah.
That goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's plenty of negative Nellies say, "Oh, you never win." It's all it takes is one. And somebody always ends up winning. And I'm sure they heard the same thing over and over and again from people they know. You'll never win. And yet, there they are. So,
how can you argue with that logic?
I mean, they ain't no more special than I am. I'm probably more special than they are. Ask anybody.
Yep.
I'm about as special as they come.
Well, isn't that special?
I'm special in that wears a helmet and licks the windows kind of way.
When a Girl Has No Name says IRS will get their share of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, right now, Well, let's just see here.
Oh, bye, Len. Len's got to go. Drop a like on your way out, please. That helps the channel.
The Powerball right now is at $457 million if you just, take it in increments. If you take the one-time payment, they say there that it's 331 million. 0.6. Now, you got to take 61% of that off of there because that's what the government takes right off the top. So when they get done, you're left with about $117 million. And Mega Millions isn't very far behind that. Yeah, I think theirs is over 100 million right now too, cash out. So I'm waiting. It's just a matter of the right numbers coming up. Oh, I tell you what, there will be some people that will be so sorry that they have treated me so poorly. I'm sure you have a list of them too.
Oh, well. I don't have many enemies. People love me. Shouldn't say that. I'd probably just jinx myself.
But there's some people that's going to be really sorry that they talked to me the way they have and that they've been mean. Because
what can you do? Just not give them money?
Those are usually the ones that come around first. Glad handing you. Oh, I'm so excited for you.
See, that's the wrong way to win the lottery. When you win the lottery, what you do is you put the ticket in a safety deposit box where it's nice and safe. Then you go to a big city at a wealth management law firm and have them create a trust.
Mm-hmm.
And then the trust is anonymous to you as far as the public's concerned. And then the trust will pick up the lottery ticket so you wouldn't be in the press. And then all the money goes to the trust. And then you hire security just in case.
Well, some of that depends on the state you're in, because some states will not allow you to get the money anonymously.
Well, that's true. I've seen some people with dark glasses. They try and obscure their likeness when they go get the big check or whatever.
Yeah. Indiana is one of those states. However, even if you can do it anonymously, eventually the word's going to get around eventually.
Well, here's another piece of advice. This is what you should do. Like if you want to give money to people who are close to you, and you might not, but if you were to be in that state of mind where you did that, what you do is you say, these 10 people, you get 20 grand each. With the condition, that's it. Mm-hmm. You'll be coming back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way you do it. And then there's no fighting. There's no, I'm on hard times. Help me launch this business. I'm in credit card. I gave you the 20 grand.
Yeah.
That's all you got so much money. I know, but you took the 20 grand.
Well, Kevin O'Leary, he's Shark Tank guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful.
Love him.
Yeah. He says, look, people are going to come at you. He says, if you don't want to give them the money, just tell them you're not going to give them the money. He says, but if it's somebody that's close to you that you're not, wanting to really tick off or, that you care about, then tell them, I'll give you the money this one time. Don't ever ask me again.
Yeah. Kevin is a big fan of fine watches.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a whole collection of high-end timepieces, and he gets custom red bands for all of his watches. And he bought the green face Rolex.
Yep. And
he's like, I want a red watch. And the guy's like, oh, no. You don't want that. No. He's like, yes. And he forced the custom. And I think it's a specific shade of red, too, that he likes. And it kind of looked like Christmas because green and red are Christmas, but it's really nice. He always has very, very awesome timepieces. And a lot of them are full mechanical timepieces, like no quartz movement, all.
And he travels with several that he will switch out at various times during the day.
I was on a watch YouTube channel, and he never has his whole collection in one location for safety. Like he'll have 12 over here at this property, 12 over there, 6 over here. He'll travel with 2 or 3, because one time someone cleaned him out. Like there was a theft and took all of his watch. He was so devastated. Yeah. Oh,
wow.
When a girl has no name says, Georgia will give you a choice, but you lose a cut of the money if you refuse to be photographed at the time of the big check. Oh, I don't know if that's, how can that be? That's nuts. I mean, I'm not saying I don't believe you, but that's harsh. Real harsh.
I don't know if I could say this on here. They could take a picture of me, but it might not be my best side.
Oh. Well, look on the bright side. They won't publish it.
Let me smile for you. Wait a minute while I turn around.
Here, I'll wink for you. Oh, dear Lord.
Oh, you
Did we really go there? See? Okay, I'm calling it. The show's off the rails. 47 minutes after.
Yeah, and I don't get around too good, I have a tendency to topple over. So my bloomers fall too far, buddy. We're all blinded.
I was talking to one of my colleagues when I was a paper boy. And it was a paper girl. It was a girl carrier, and she said she was delivering papers, and there was an old man in a robe, and the robe was not a low robe, and she walking past the picture window, and he was in his living room, and he bent down to get something, and it was nothing was hidden, and she was just mortified. She had to put the paper in his mailbox next to his front door. She saw that. Oh, poor girl.
Yeah, I've said since I lived here that, anybody that ain't seen me naked by now ain't been looking.
Well, now here, I have a question for you in the audience.
All right. Ask it.
Has to do with nakedness, sort of. Not really, but what is the social etiquette for men's boxers? Like, can you walk out in public with your boxer shorts on? Is that acceptable, or is that not acceptable?
It's not acceptable.
Not acceptable. Like, I have shorts that show more than when I'm wearing the long.
You shouldn't be wearing them either.
Well, that's true too. I call them my hot pants.
Yeah,
I had to buy these shorts at the beach or at a hotel, because I didn't have swimming trunks. I wanted to use the hotel pool, and they were really short. And I never threw them out afterwards. I'm like, I'm going to keep. So sometimes I mow the lawn in them, and I say to my wife, I'm wearing the hot pants mowing the lawn. Just keep an eye on it, because the neighbors would throw themselves at me. Or they could throw themselves anyway.
I think those is called Daisy Dukes.
Well, they weren't quite David Dukes, but they were. They don't go to the knees, and this is for men. Men's shorts.
Got a little cheek peeking out there in the back.
Well,
say Daisy Dukes.
Oh, when a girl has no name says no, hell no. Okay. Well, that's what I was doing, because I would put on shorts when I would go out and water the plants or go out and get the mail. Tracy's like, "Why are you doing that?" I'm like, "I'm not going out in my boxers." She goes, "No, you're completely covered." I'm like, I just don't think it's socially acceptable. So we were kind of not on the same wavelength there. But anyway.
See, then that brings up the next question on what do you do with the boys?
Oh, my volume's too low. Say that again.
I said that brings up the next question of what do you do with the boys? I mean, you have like a hammock in there, that you
When you're in boxer shorts, that's all you have, just boxer shorts.
But don't you have some kind of a contraption where you can like keep them under control? Because if they decide to drop, you be stepping on them and squalling like a mashed cat.
Boxer shorts are typically long-legged,
Well, not clear past your knees.
No.
I mean, Lord, they go to beating up against your kneecaps, and you go to hollering and be like, what do they call them, knee knockers?
Anyway. So I don't do because I was out there watering the plants, and I have brand new next door neighbors. They just moved in, and I saw the wife out there, and she waved at me. I said hello, and she says hi, and then she's like, "Can I talk to you?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I went out, off my porch, and we were talking. But I was in shorts. I wasn't in my boxers. I'm like, well, how awkward would that have been if I was out there watering my plants on my porch, but I had my boxers on, and she waved me over to talk.
Yeah.
Anyway, so anyway, thank goodness my first impression.
Well, see,
I had pants on.
I've not had new neighbors since I moved in here, but I'm waiting because eventually. I figure I'll eventually get some new neighbors. And the way I intend.
Oh, here we go. Are you sitting down, audience?
To welcome them to the neighborhood. Is I'll be vacuuming the house, topless, and I'll get up to the window, when they're out there in the yard or, close by where they can see me. And I'll be beating on the glass, waving at them. Waving at them.
Many parts will be waving, not just your hands.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
See, Hardneal Media's got the right mindset. Problem is, you live too close to people, Matt. Yeah, I have neighbors here. Is what it is. But I'm in good with my neighbors. My father lived next to horrible neighbors his entire life. If it wasn't one neighbor, it was the other. And I was just like, if I can help it, I'm not going to let my relationships with my future neighbors, this is what I'm saying as a kid to myself, I'm not going to let that go south. So Russ Meadows is here. Hi, Russ.
Hey, Russ. Good to see you. Yeah. I liked it out on the farm. My closest neighbor was like a quarter mile away, and that was kind of too close, but still had my privacy. So yeah. And then the last place I lived, the neighbors was right across the driveway. That was a flipping nightmare because there's like 4 generations of people living in that little bitty house. And it was just unreal. Stories I could tell you. Oh my goodness. And I moved over here, and I thought, okay, I moved into kind of a senior citizens type neighborhood, older people, and that church next door, they'll have Sunday services, maybe one through the week or two, and should be pretty quiet. Lord, there's something going on over there all the time. And those people just being a royal pain in my keister. Like, good golly, just stay over there and leave me alone. I ain't bothering you.
Right.
So yeah, I belong back out in the country. The problem with me in the country at my age is snow removal and trying to get somebody to come out and take care of the yard.
Property maintenance stuff. Yeah.
That's and if you got to go to town now, see, I'm used to this because I grew up in the country, but city folks, they're used to like every 5 minutes they got to go to the store for something. But when you live in the country, you make a list. And then you go to the store once a week or go to town once a week. And you got all the different stores you got to go to get the stuff that's on your list. The hardware store, the dry cleaner, the grocery store, drugstore, wherever you got to go to get your stuff. And you just make a day of it and you go and get everything that you need and come home and unload it and you're set.
Makes sense.
And if you don't, if you forgot it, you do without it. It's just the way it goes. But yeah, back when I lived on the farm, I was friends with some people that lived in the city, and they about went crazy with the way that I did my shopping. They said, "Oh no, if we need something for supper, then we could just run right out to the store and get it. It's right up the street, and we need this." And I said, "How many times a day are you running?" And it would be like 5 or 6 times a day. I said, "Are you kidding me? Can you imagine the amount of gas and wear and tear on your vehicle and stuff that you're doing?" And I go once a week. And yeah, they thought that was the most archaic thing they'd ever heard in their life. Here I was going once a week to the store.
Yeah. Jeff Robinson's here. He says what he had for dinner. Looks like he had breakfast for dinner. All right. I love
nothing wrong with that.
For dinner.
Yeah. Well, nobody wanted to play tonight, our little game of Ask Me Out Anything. So I guess maybe we just need to give something away. It looks like we got about 12 in the chat.
We can do that. I'll give the spiel.
Go for it.
All right, folks. Brenda's going to give away something. She wrote a number down. If you guess the number exactly right, you're going to win. And she'll mail you a physical prize. Know what Mom knows is here. Hi, Shelly.
Hey, Shelly.
All right, we're playing this game, so make sure you're not behind time. So make sure you're live, caught up. You only guess once, and if you live outside the United States, the lower 48 states, that's considered international. She will not ship international shipping unless you pay for the international shipping. Or you can, if you're international and you want to play, but you don't want to pay for shipping, you can re-gift it. So everyone can play. Everyone can play. There's a chance to win a bonus prize. When she writes down the number, she writes it out as words. She doesn't write it as digits. And she over-capitalizes things because she knows I'm a publishing professional and I do not tolerate improperly capitalized words. But she does it anyway because she just twists a knife and she likes to drive me nuts. So as a bonus, you can guess how many capital letters she wrote in the word that she wrote down. And the word is for the number that she's chosen. You pick the number exactly right, you win. There's 4 prizes. She'll tell you the 4 prizes after we have the winner. And super chats help fund the shipping costs that Brenda pays for out of pocket. Super chats are optional, but if you can super chat, please do, because that helps fund this endeavor. And with that, Brenda, what is the number range we have this evening?
The number range this evening is between 20 and 29.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Go.
All right, pick one time. Pick a number between 20 and 29. It could be 20. It could be 29. It could be anything in between. Pick once. And remember, you would put your number / and then their bonus guess. All right, numbers are coming in. Oh, you're fine, Shelly. Shelly's talking about the rules. Oh, Gil Davis is here. Hi, Gil. I didn't see you pop in.
Hey, Gil.
Y. Mitchell. Did we say hi to Y. Mitchell? I think we did. Maybe
no,
not.
I don't think we did. Hey.
Hello, hello.
How's everything going with the Luminate?
If we miss people in the chat, don't hold it against us.
We got a winner.
We have a winner.
Midnight Scroller.
Midnight Scroller. Excellent. 21, and she chose 5 as the bonus. Sorry, there's 4. You do not win the bonus prize, Midnight Scroller, but congratulations, you won the prize. Thank you all for playing.
Midnight Scroller won. I'll show her what she gets to choose from.
All right. Here are your prize lineups. You get to pick one.
I've got the Bloodshot Dragon's Eye.
Ooh, I like that one.
That's a cabochon I painted up with a Bloodshot Dragon's Eye. I've got this painting that I did. See if I can get it so the glare's off of it.
Whoa.
This is an acrylic pour painting. And
Brenda,
I've got
that is really good.
Got it in a nice frame.
I like that a lot.
I got just a smidge of talent here and there.
Wow, that's cool.
So that's 2 of them. I've also got a set of these coasters. There's 2 greens and 2 oranges. These are the decoupage coasters. They're on the tumbled tiles. They've got the felt on the back, nice heavy coasters. So there's a set of 4 of those. And let's see, what else have I got up here? I've got the pink dream catcher. Pink feathers on the dream catcher. There's a little buffalo fetish on there, made of stone, some beads. So those are the 4 items to choose from. You let me know which one you want.
Okay, Dragon's Eye, the coasters, the artwork, or the dream catcher. Let us know, Midnight Scroller. And Brenda will mail that to you.
She wants the dream catcher.
And you're in the United States. Yeah. So send Brenda your mailing address or wherever you want it mailed. You can PM her on Facebook or send her an email. Her email is brenda.gibson@gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat.
That is correct. So yeah, you get me your mailing address and I will send it out tomorrow. I'm putting down Dreamcatcher on here so I don't forget.
Know what Mom knows talked about the Dreamcatcher. She says it's available to catch runaway unicorns. I didn't know that was a feature of a Dreamcatcher.
I'll tell you what, I've got a great big one. It's, I don't know, like
they make them that big?
30 inches that I made.
Oh, she chose the Dreamcatcher. She picked it. Oh, I didn't see that she picked it. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and I've got that hanging over my bed because of all the nightmares I've had about this roof. I'm like, I need a big one. A little one ain't going to do the job.
You don't want any of the dreams to slip by you.
We need a big web for these suckers, I'll tell you what.
Ooh.
Oh. Yeah, Gil, you need to come down here. And Gil just lives north of me up here. He needs to come down here and take a look at the mess my house is. It looks like Kosovo the day after the bomb. Doggone tree took everything out of here. She says, I almost did, but once, but she said, Heavy, I'm like, I can't read that. Lord, my eyes are going in and out. What'd she say?
She says, haha, I almost did, but once she said, Heavy, I'm like, that a flying object. Laughy face.
Oh, the coasters. Yeah, they are heavy. They're tile.
Y'all raw wanders here. Hello.
It's like a big rock.
Right. Stone. It's like stone.
Yep, they're stone.
Oh, Brenda, I'm pretty beat. I don't know about you.
Well, say that's what happens. You carry them Canta-Lupays around all day, bouncing them, making them googly eyes go up and down. I know
they
what
say
you
it's
do.
better to look good than feel good, but they're quite the burden.
Well, let's see. Today is what, the 16th?
Yeah.
That means next week's the 23rd. Oh, bless your heart, Jim. Thank you very much. Woohoo!
Oh, I didn't see that come through. Woo-hoo! Thank you, Jim.
And we'll have to get some cowbell going for that.
I'll turn on the super chat lights.
Always appreciated. Yeah, 23rd next Thursday. And so, Lord willing, creeks don't rise. I'm expecting to be here. I take Dennis for his surgery on the 22nd to have cancer removed. So hopefully everything will go well with that. And I'll get him situated there Wednesday and be back in here on Thursday. Let's see. You got a morning show that goes on every day.
Well, most Mondays through Fridays, usually around 8:15 in the morning. No pre-advanced warning. So you can go to Awesome Fun Things. It may or may not. It's not going to be there, but I just pop on live. So hit the bell on Awesome Fun Things, and I do my Monday show on All Things YouTube.
Yeah, Jim says Gil is a Hoosier too. Yes, he is. He lives right north of me up here. This
show's blowing up. My All Things YouTube stream it's getting really good. People are coming in, they're asking questions. I deliver good content. If you haven't checked out my Monday 7 p.m. Eastern All Things YouTube show, check it out. I'm dialing it in, baby.
Does Susan ever show up?
She's hard to get. Because once we wake up in the morning, she leaves for work, and then I don't see her.
See, now, if you get her in there, I'll come.
I don't think she wants to be in the same room with you.
I will rearrange my schedule so that I'm there.
I think she's scared of you, Brenda.
See, therein lies the problem. She's good at sneaking around, you know. She sneaks around when she knows that I'm not watching her. And then
I would like to see you, Brenda, run YouTube. That would be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Put a camera on you, watch you run YouTube.
First thing I'd do is fire about 3/4 of them.
Well, then the whole service would go down.
You know, I'd say, and you're gone, and you're gone, and you're gone.
Who's going to do the server backups? Who's going to do the main? You know, the people
who
have
does
jobs
it now.
God,
therein lies the problem. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians in there. Ain't nobody doing them now. That's why things are broke all the time.
Did you know Larry Page, who is the co-owner of Google? When he was CEO for a short period, and they're like, "You're not a very good CEO. You can't be CEO anymore." He's like, "It's my company." Anyway, he wanted to fire all of middle management. He's like, "You're all gone. I think the engineers should just be in charge. Engineers should build what they want to build, and there should be no accountability, no project trackers, no." It didn't go well. It didn't go well at all. But he owned the company. He could do what he wants. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I think I could probably go out to the zoo and get me a bunch of chimps to run things a lot better than what they're doing out there. And that'd probably be my next step. Once I fired a bunch of them, then I'd just go rent a bus and we go down to the zoo.
You realize this is a global video sharing company. And you're going to fire half the staff.
No, 3/4.
More than half the staff.
Yeah.
Ooh. Boy, that would be a colossal entertainment franchise.
I don't do anything, just a little bit. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it big.
Oh, God.
Everything has to be big, grand, spectacular.
There's 500 hours of video uploaded per minute to YouTube. That's pretty big.
Do you know what my first words would be if they told me that, hey, Susan's out, you're in?
Let's hear it.
Here, hold my beer.
Oh. Damn.
Then the fun begins.
Heads will roll.
Hey, y'all, watch this. Rip off my sleeves, you holler, get her done.
All the thumbnails are broken site-wide. Get it fixed. Closed captioning's not working. Get it fixed.
The whip would be snapped, I tell you what. So anyway, yeah, you're fired. Yep, there you go. Well, let's see. You got your morning thing, then you got your Monday thing, and are you doing anything with what's his name? Robert Lee.
We had our last Wednesday show that was called Verbose Wednesdays, and we're phasing that out. Robert is getting busy with his full-time job doing off-site video shoots, and he couldn't really put the effort into it. And I'm like, look, I don't do anything halfway. I'm like, let's kind of put it on pause. So it's on pause, but he's still out there. He's still in the community. He's a good guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else you doing anything with?
I am on the Venture Forward YouTube channel Fridays at a new time, 6:30. And sometimes I'm on there with Paul Burke as another co-host. So it's John Ventrini, myself, and Paul Burke. And it's very similar format to this show where we just talk about whatever we want. And we take bets to see how quickly the show can go completely off the rails. And we talk about anything and everything, and it's crazy. We had this one commenter in there. She would write words the way that they sound, and it was so entertaining. Like she would say God, but she would spell it like that, not G-O-D, but G-A-W-D. And then she was like, stop, which was S-T-O-O-H-H-P-P, like stop. And it was, she had like every comment had a perfectly crafted, phonetically accurate spelling of the, and it was just a delight. So we were talking about that. We were talking about somehow martial arts came into it. I was talking about my dealings with that, and it goes all. It usually ends up in the gutter too, which is
much like this show.
Double entendres and kind of crazy stuff. Matt, you need a ham radio channel. You know what? Here's the thing about ham radio people. They love to talk. It's a spoken medium.
Did you know I'm a ham radio operator?
I do.
Yeah. Gil is too. That's how I met Gil.
He was talking about the ham radio there in the club. Yeah, the radio club. I want one of those, what do they call them, walkies? Like it's all self-contained ham radio. It's like in one little unit. Do they make those?
You're talking about the handhelds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would want something simple like that.
They don't have a lot of range, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. But
unless you can do programs and stuff with them that you can download and actually talk on your phone to anybody in the world.
Well, the inventor of this microphone, his name is Bob Heil. He was a ham radio guy.
I know him.
He was tired about having awful microphones on the ham radio equipment, so he started engineering microphones and came up with this masterpiece. This is industry renowned quality, and people who've been in radio for decades have used this exact microphone, and they will not they'll can pry it out of their cold dead hands. They won't give up their Heil PR40s. Go to any of my video posts. I have a link to the Heil PR40.
He never made the one I told him to make, though.
Oh dear. And
I still say somebody needs to come up with this. But when I was the president of the radio club over there in Ohio, we talked mainly on 2 meters, which was, fairly local. This wasn't something that went all over the United States. It could if you had the right stuff hooked up to it, but it was local stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be sitting there at the desk. Maybe I'm knitting, maybe I'm crocheting, maybe I'm painting, I'm doing other things. And every time you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to key the mic and talk, which meant it took your hands away from whatever else you were doing. And so I told him that I thought he needed to come up with a foot switch control microphone for 2 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've got them for other bands, like HF bands and stuff where you talk all over the world, but they didn't have anything for 2 meters. Now they may have come up with some. I haven't kept up with it for the past few years and see what's going on, but they did not have anything for 2 meters, 440, or any of the, local kind of stuff. And I said, look, if I'm doing something, I can do 2 or 3 things at one time, but I have to stop what I'm doing to key the microphone to talk to people and then unkey it. And if I've got a foot control, I can just tap it with my foot and say what I got to say and then untap it and I'm back off the air. But he wouldn't come up with anything for that.
Well, that sucks.
So that is still available. There's the idea. Any of you guys out there that invent things, that, this is something that could be used. Of course, there again, now I don't know if things have changed a whole lot since back when I was in it, and it's been many years now, but the fellers weren't real thrilled about having a lot of women involved in their hobby. So I thought that might have had something to do with it. Look, if this is going to encourage women to get into the hobby, this might not be something that we want to pursue.
Mm.
So that could have had something to do with it. I don't know. But yeah, I know that there was a lot of bands where if women, there was one in particular that was an HF band it was called Packet, where you get on and type on your computer, and it went out all over the world. And there was a group of ladies that started a net for exchanging recipes or cleaning ideas, or anything to do with raising children or anything like that. And a bunch of the guys did not like that, and caused a lot of problems, to the point where the ladies had to quit their pursuit of their
That's
packet.
not right. I don't like that at all.
So hopefully things have matured and changed since back in the old days. But yes, it was very difficult for women to get involved in the hobby back in the day.
That sucks. Well, yes, I would hope things have changed.
I even had, we had a big convention over in my neck of the woods. A lot of people have heard of it. It was called the Hamvention. They still have it, as far as I know. It's changed its location a time or two, I think. But back then, they had this huge thing. People came from all over the world to go to this. It was huge. And our particular frequency, we would give people directions on how to get to, wherever they needed to go. We had maps in front of us, and we'd take turns, so that nobody had to be there 24/7 for a week, trying to tell people what to do. And one day I was on there working the radio and giving people directions on how to get to, which exit to take for this or that or the other thing, and where hotels were or restaurants or whatever it was that they wanted to get to. And this one guy struck up a conversation with me, so we're talking about the Hamvention and different things that was at the Hamvention and different things that was available in the area and all this. And the next day he come back on the frequency and gave his call sign. I recognized him. I asked him, you having a good time today? Any information that you need? And he said, well, I do have one question for you. And I said, well, go ahead and ask it. And he says, what's your name? And I said, well, my name is Brenda. And he says, it's Brenda? I said, yeah. He says, it's Brenda, not Brendan. I said, that's right. It's Brenda. And he says, so you're a female? I said, last time I checked. And he says, I thought I was talking to a fella yesterday when I was talking to you. And he says, when I got with a bunch of the other hams last night and we was talking about it, they'd heard me on the radio talking to you and asked why I was talking to that lady. And I told him I wasn't talking to no lady. I was talking to a fella. And he said, now it turns out that I really was talking to a lady. And I said, well, I'm sorry I ruined your day.
It's a pretty crap thing to say from him. Yeah.
I said, but hey, it is what it is.
You don't sound like a fella. Jesus.
I said, would it help you if I talked real sweet and demure like this? Would this help you out? And I know that all the guys that knew me that was listening to the channel were just splitting a gut. Oh my God, sweet and demure. Are you kidding me? I said, I don't know what it is that you really expect. I gave you the information that you requested, and we had a nice conversation about things that was going on in the area and with the Hamvention.
What's the problem?
And so because I happen to be a female amateur radio operator, now all of a sudden you have an issue with this. I really don't understand what the problem is, but okay. Sorry that you had to talk to a lady.
That's a whole lot of not your problem. That's a lot of his problem.
But yeah, that's the kind of stuff I've had to endure,
Sucks.
Oh, goodness. Well, listen, I think we'll go ahead and shut this thing down for tonight. Lord willing, Creeks Don't Rise. We'll be back here on Thursday. I don't know what Russell has planned for Simply Wooden Creations on Saturday night, but if he has a show, I'm going to try to be there. And it's 8 o'clock, Simply Wooden Creations on Saturday night. And there'll be a Heifer Haven come out later tonight. So stay tuned.
Yay. I love
You never know what I'm going to talk about.
I love the Heifer Haven.
And you never know what kind of advice I'm going to give. Good night, everybody.